What's up, guys? We're back at it with another video. If you saw the last video, the wheels look fucking amazing. The tire letters, the whole everything about it just looks so good. I mean, look at it, just fucking oh. But for today, we actually have my buddy here, Malik. He's got an EF hatch. It's a DX. Today we're installing a Rywire budget tucked B&D series harness and converting his car to multi-point. He already has a ECU with a base map on it, so everything will be Gucci. We're gonna run it like this for a little bit. Then once we have the seals and stuff from my Mini-Me that was in the CRX, we're gonna put new gaskets on that, throw that baby in here, trans and all, get her on the dyno and tune it and see if we can make that 140 that I thought my previous tune was on it. So we're letting the car cool down right now. We're gonna take the intake manifold off and get the Z6 manifold mounted up. First we're gonna install the harness and then we're gonna do the manifold, but let's get going. While my buddy Malik starts taking the harness off the engine, I'm gonna introduce the harness and show you what it looks like. For anybody who wants to swap their car clean, very simply, to OBD1, this is the way I prefer. This is the way that I've done it in both of my CRXs that I've had. I swapped, if you guys seen the transmission overhaul we did on my buddy's teal EF hatch, we wired in the Rywire OBD1 budget tucked harness, the same exact harness, because it was also a DX. So let me lay this out for you real quick. All right, so this is the harness. It is very clean. I love Rywire stuff. Very well loomed. Everything is labeled. As you can see, idler control valve, TPS, everything, injector 1, 2, 3, 4, everything is labeled. I would say that my only gripe about this is the wire color. Basically, if you want to check if a wire has continuity, you need to check it at the injector and then check that pin at the ECU, because all the wires are black. Now with that being said, this harness is amazing. I love how everything is labeled. I love how clean it is. All the grounds, everything's heat shrinked. Everything it just looks so good. So this will get fed into the cabin. This will go out to the engine. And then this is the sub harness that converts the dual point fuel injection to multi-point. This will then plug into, I believe, one of the plugs over here. I believe it's this one. And then this plug here will plug into one of the round plugs on the passenger side, I believe, of the car, and this gets tucked inside. So all this will look really good. So yeah, I'm stoked. He's gonna gain like 50 horsepower just from converting from dual point to multi-point. So he's excited. Barely having power to pass on the highway really sucks, don't it?
Yeah, sucks.
Yeah, so we're excited. We're gonna start getting everything unplugged, pull the intake manifold off, basically get this thing dialed. Any of the wires that we won't be using, we're going to pull back into the cabin, cut and heat shrink the ends, so therefore we don't short anything, we don't ground anything. Rywire does have a write-up / diagram on their site. They'll tell you what wires get wired into what, because there are some, I believe there are some wires that need to be wired in. This brown white is actually a check engine light wire. If you ground it, it will tell you what codes there are, and I believe these two are extras. I know with my car I had to wire some in. I don't see anything that needs to be wired on this one. Maybe that's all taken care of in the multi-point harness. That would be great. That would be 100% awesome. So we wouldn't have to do any wiring. It'd be complete plug and play. Well, let's see. All right, first things first, when we're doing this, pull all of the harness out of the car, basically. So we're gonna unplug the harness from the chassis, unplug that, unplug the fuse box, unplug everything that's touching the motor, O2 sensor, throttle cable, vacuum lines, coolant lines, all that from the manifold, because we're gonna be pulling the manifold off as well. So we're gonna get the harness taken off and then we'll take the intake manifold off.
Oh man, that's how filthy it is.
Ah, look at all this DX mess. Oh, we forgot to unplug the O2 sensor. Oh, we spliced it. Oh, I got a fix for that. Just gonna cut it for now because we're gonna put probably a wideband in it eventually. So that can come out. Oh, reverse. And that one. Boom. So now we got the harness out, at least the engine harness. We're going to start undoing coolant lines and start undoing the intake manifold. Everything is still very hot, so we're going to try and do it as quick as possible, but also not get burnt. Once the intake manifold's out, we can clear up a little bit of space here. We'll cut down the harness, and then some of this will get pulled inside the cabin, inside and floor well, to make this harness look really clean and make the engine bay look a little clean. I mean, as clean as it can look, but you know. Ah, piece of junk. All right, so much room for activities. The intake manifold is off. We are going to run to the store so we can pick up a O2 sensor, and we need to pick up some vinyl line because the PCV is no longer in place, so we're not going to use it. We're just going to do it how I did in the B17 and run one vinyl line to the ground from the black box and one vinyl line to the ground from the valve cover. So it'll all be vented, it'll all go to the ground, it'll be decent, it's runnable like that, and we'll just cap. I already capped off the Z6 intake manifold because I didn't use it like that, so we're good. We're gonna go get that stuff from the store, grab some brake clean, and then we'll be on to cutting down the harness and getting the new harness installed. All right, we just got back. We picked up an oxygen sensor. Forgot to grab the hoses, but I think I have extra hoses at my house, which tomorrow I'm gonna grab before we come back because we're not gonna finish it tonight. And then what else we'll need is a power wire from the fuse box that will be in the footwell out to the battery or out to the starter, so that the fuse box has power at all times. This was to the fuse box and then to the starter. So obviously, if the fuse box is in the footwell, this is going to need to be longer. And that is the only other thing that I see we'll need to change. Now on to the part that gets fun, the harness. So what we need to do is cut this back and only pull into the cabin what needs to be pulled in, which would mean this was for the map sensor that was up here. It is no longer up there. We can take this off. This can be cut. So I am going to pull this down and then cut the casing, the stock wiring cover shit off down to here, and then tape up the wiper motor control, and literally that's it. Everything else can be pulled in and we'll be golden. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started cutting this wire harness back and start finding what needs to be pulled inside the cabin. All right, so we got intake off. We got exhaust manifold off because when we go OBD1 with this car, the stock header had the oxygen sensor up here and the harness will not reach, and I don't want to stretch it. So we are going to be throwing the header from the Mini-Me, which is right here, the DC Sports that I welded up because it was leaking. We're going to put that on here. It'll bolt up fine. Then we'll be Gucci, but we have to drop that on to put it on. Other than that, we got the harness cut, the tape cut. We're pulling everything back that we need to in the car, and then we're going to tape up what we don't. Like, we'll pull this back as far as we can. This is the wiper motor control power, and then we'll tape it up and run it back out here. That's how I did mine. This is, I believe, the purge and the map sensor, which were on the firewall previously. They'll be on the manifold now, so we won't need these because everything that we need is on the harness already. So we're gonna cut the grommet off real quick and separate everything, pull everything that we need back in the car, and start installing the harness. All right, we got most of what's pulled back into the cabin, but we have to extend some wires so that we can pull everything in and make it look super clean. This black one, which goes to the fuse box, we also need to extend this white with the green line. And then that will get everything into the cabin and looking clean. Then all I'll have to do is tape this up right here, pull the wiper motor back out, tape that up. That'll look really sleek, really clean, and then we can start installing the harness itself. But we're gonna pack it up tonight. My buddy has an hour-and-a-half drive home. We're gonna come tomorrow fresh and early, knock this thing out the rest of the day, and hopefully he drives this home no issues. I'm gonna say there is no issues because I've done this multiple times, so I know what to expect. But yeah, we'll see y'all tomorrow. All right, guys, we are back at it today. Malik is gonna he needs to do his rear brakes, so he's gonna take care of that while I take care of the harness. Yeah, crimps, heat shrink, and wire, so we can extend this black wire that goes to the fuse box, and then also extend this white wire, which also goes to the fuse box. I don't remember having to do this on the last one I did, so I'm not sure, but either way, this is how this one is pointing out. So all this will go in the cabin, but these two wires need to be extended so that they can all tuck in real nice. It'll look real clean, like a tuck should look. So I'm going to snip these, pull these wires into the cabin, and then start taping, and then we can extend these two wires, this black and this white, and everything will look real nice and real clean. So the fuse box will be pulled into the cabin, so it will be down here with the ECU. I'm gonna have to pull some back some of this carpet a little bit more, but everything looks like it'll be plug and play. So let's get cracking. It's a 16 gauge wire to extend these two into the car. I'm gonna have an extended amount so that I can cut it to length so I can make the harness perfect looking. So how I'm going to identify which is which is I'm going to put a tape tag on it and write what color the wire is so I can connect it to the inside. Alright, so we got white, green stripe, red dots, which is this one. And then black, silver dots. Now I can feed these into the car. Now we can tape up whatever is left out there. Pull this back out, which this is the wiper arm motor, tape this up, and it should look pretty clean. So this can all get taped together. This will come up here real nice, it'll look clean, and the only thing will be coming out of this hole other than this will be the Rywire harness. Alright, boom. That's taped up, looking nice. Now we can go ahead and take care of the stuff inside the vehicle. Alright, so we have everything in here. Before I hook up the 2 wires that we needed to extend, I want to plug in everything to the fuse box so that I know which way it needs to be ran, so I can kind of get it all together, get it wound up together, and, you know, joined so that it all looks neat. So the two wires that we need to extend are here and here. So they're right on the same path. So this should be fairly easy. This is the old map sensor right here. That's gonna get cut off because we won't be needing it or using it. So that'll be gone. All right, so what I'm gonna do is start taping this all together. And then once I have this to about here, then I'll connect these 2 wires and finish just taping it up. Also, we don't need this one either. This is the signal for the purge, which we don't have anymore. We're not going to be using this, so we can cut this out and cap it off with some heat shrink. This is how I cap them off. I just put it over, heat it so it shrinks, and then squeeze the end, and there's a little bit of glue inside that will stick to each other. Sealed, not gonna short, not gonna do anything abnormal. That can get taped into the harness. Oh, of course, I forgot to put the heat shrink on this one. Well, gotta redo it. All right, fix that. Heat shrink on, lighter on. Okay, cool. Those 2 wires are extended. Now everything can be taped. All right, so we got everything down here tidied up except the power wire for ignition power. Once the battery's in place, I'll see how long this wire needs to be so that I can run that there. We did out by the charge harness with this harness, so it just came basic as can be, no charge harness. So now we can start running the Rywire harness and plugging everything in. Once we have it ready to run, we can plug in everything on the back of the block, oil pressure sensors, coolant temp sensors, and then once the manifold's on, everything there. But we will have to drop the front front subframe to put the header on, but that's no biggie. That's easy cake. So Malik did clean up the bay a little bit with some brake clean and some degreaser. It looks pretty good. It looks like velvet, to be honest. It's pretty clean. So everything is basically ready to go. So I'm gonna start feeding in the harness and getting everything situated. All right, so harness is inside. These are the ECU harness plugs, and this plug goes to the other side of the sub harness that came for this car. So the wires that I previously in other Rywire harness installs, I had to wire into the car, would be onto this ECU plug, but they have this connector right here that already has everything perfect set up, so it's just plug and play. Boom, unplug, boop, plug in. That'll relay everything we need to the dash, ECU, check engine light, all that. So that's perfect. That's cool there. This is plugged in. Then this one is for this big plug here. Boom, plug and play. And then we have this plug will go to this white one here. All right, plugged in, cool. And then we have one more plug, which is this round one right here, which goes to this one. Basically, that's it. The next thing on the list would be to get everything sorted where you wanted it. This is a pretty long harness, so there's a secondary plug like this over on the passenger side of the car. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this goes to this one. It might go to the passenger side. I'm gonna check real quick and catch back up. All right, got everything kind of tucked out the way a little bit. I've got all this stuff kind of placed back there. The fuse box. I still have to get the one wire for the ignition power up there ran. We're getting a battery in place now so I can see how long that wire has to be, but everything is neatly tucked under here as best as possible. Once this is finished, we can start plugging things up in the engine bay. Once he puts the battery in place, I'm gonna get this red wire to length for the power to the fuse box, and then we'll be moving on to installing the intake manifold, one step closer to multi-point. All right, now that we have everything in the cabin finished, now we can move on to hooking up the Rywire harness itself. Now, I left the intake manifold off so that we could hook up everything on the block pretty easily and then go from there, hooking everything up. We're going to see if a Z6 distributor works, because this one won't plug in. The ears look the same, but we're about to take it off right now and check. All right, so we ran into a hiccup. The D16 Z6 distributor won't work on the non-VTEC D15 B7. So we need to find one. We're gonna try and see if an OBD1 D series non-VTEC distributor will work. But as far as that goes, we're gonna put the intake manifold on, get everything buttoned up so that when we're finished and we get that distributor, we can slap it on and fire this baby up. So. Alright guys, again, we're wrapping it up for tonight. We've got the intake manifold on, everything is plugged up. The only thing that this engine needs is a distributor, coolant, put the header on, plug in the O2 sensor, and she should fire right up. But the Z6 distributor didn't work on this, so we need to find an OBD1 D series non-VTEC distributor. I think we should be good once that's found. Hopefully we can find one for cheap. Yeah, basically, and fire up and see how she runs. I'm gonna say he's gonna pick up like 40 horsepower to the wheels, because dual point is trash, multi-point's where it's at, so ain't that right? Always. So we're gonna get out of here tonight. We will catch back up when we find a distributor. Same video, so don't worry. But yeah, so we'll see y'all then. Yo, so we're back at the garage. It's been literally like 5 days, but Honda Vlogs came in clutch with a distributor for this, and I'm so stoked that he did because we literally couldn't find one for the life of us. But yeah, Honda Vlogs, Christian, he came in clutch. He also shouted me out on his channel, which I appreciate wholeheartedly. And thanks, Christian. Thank you for the distributor. You came in clutch, bro. We're gonna get back to this. Only thing we have to do is distributor, put a filter on the intake because, well, we're gonna put this back on, but definitely need another one. Like, this is garbage, but an intake is coming. And throw the DC Sports header on and see if she starts. That's basically all that's left to this thing. We're gonna get cracking, get this header on, get the distributor on, get it all timed up and Gucci, and then we'll see how she runs. Again, yo, thank you, Honda Vlogs. Thank you, Christian. You helped us out big time.
Thank you.
Getting the header mounted up, about to mount the distributor. Literally, this car should be running in like 10 minutes. Alright, well, we're getting ready to just prime it, make sure there's no fuel leaks. Still have to hook up the throttle cable, put more coolant in it, and maybe set the idle, depends. I'm going to see if there's any vacuum leaks. There shouldn't be, but we're going to go from there then. Alright, so we got the throttle cable hooked up, got all, got some vacuum lines to work. PCV line running to the back, just so there's no vacuum leaks. We will have to change the throttle cable because this is not an SI cable, so it's just a little too long. That's why it's looped like this, but it should work. So we're gonna hook up the ground and then prime it and see if there's any fuel leaks and see if she'll start. We're gonna prime it, see if check for fuel leaks real quick. We got coolant in it. We just adjusted the throttle cable differently because it wouldn't. It was too tight and was causing the pedal to stick. So go ahead and see if it has. Do it again. Again. One more time. Again.
I can hear my people.
Yeah. Just checking for fuel leaks real quick. Yeah, do that. Do it again. Alright, no fuel leaks.
Okay.
Send her. She runs. It's a little low idle, so we're gonna see what's up and then let her warm up. Well, here, turn it off. We got a small fuel leak here, so we're gonna. Looks like the line might be ripped. I might have to replace the line. Oh, we're gonna throw. Probably gonna go grab a band clamp and/or change the fuel line. We can grab some line at the store. And all right, so we actually swapped one of the plugs on the inside to this driver's side of the car. It has the same type of plug. We're going to see if it runs any different, and then we're going to tackle this fuel leak, and she should be golden. Go ahead, start it, bro. Really sounds the same. Give it some throttle. We still have to set the ignition timing, so. Alright, so we picked up some fuel line. We got 5/16 and quarter, because I'm not sure which that is. Hopefully one of them works, because that would be great. And we picked up some clamps too to fix the fuel leak. And then we're gonna aim for that check engine light. All right, so we do have a check engine light. It's on just with the key on, so it's a hard code. With this harness, there's 3 extra wires. There's a brown and a white, and then 2 for an extra sensor. The brown and the white, if you ground that, it'll show you the codes by flashing the ECU. So I'm gonna ground that real quick, see what the code is, and then we'll attack it from there. I'm thinking it might be a TPS, the way that when you tip into the throttle, it stutters. We also have to set the ignition timing yet, but once we get the code set, then we'll worry about setting the ignition timing and stuff like that. So on the harness right here, there are 3 extra wires. This brown and white right here, BRN, WHT, this is what you will ground to the chassis anywhere. There's a good ground to see the codes, and they will flash at you through the dash. So I'm gonna cut that real quick, ground it, and see what we have. All right, and wait, what do we got, Malik?
So we got 1, 2, that's 21.
21.
And 4.
21 and 4. Any more?
Nope.
Nope, same ones. So 21 and 4. I'm gonna grab my phone real quick, see what those codes are, because I don't know them off the top of my head. And I think it's probably TPS is 4. And I'm not sure what 21 is. It's probably VSS.
That doesn't necessarily mean TPS is bad, does it?
No, it might just need adjusted.
And the VSS?
If you do have 2-step, it would engage the whole time.
You said it would?
Yeah. The 2-step would engage. So if it's at 4, you would hit a limiter of 4, like driving around.
Ooh. Ooh.
Okay, so we have a code 4 and a code 21. Code 4 is crank position sensor, which is in the distributor. And 21 is VTEC solenoid control, which would be the signal. It is a P28, but it's chipped. Did you say, wait, did you say, I think this ECU in here is for a B7, but it might be for just a D15B that's VTEC. So I think that's why it's idling a little weird. We'll have to see how it drives. That would cause the stutter whenever you dip the throttle. So we're gonna look into it real quick and see what we find. So we're pulling his ECU because I'm gonna throw in my Neptune real quick. Pull up the laptop, see if we can see anything that's going on with the ECU. See if it throws any of the codes that throws with this ECU, and go from there. So I'm hooking this up now. I'm gonna see what's up. Turn the key off. Thank you. I forgot about that. All right, we got the ECU in. I'm gonna grab my laptop and grab our cord. All right, I'm just gonna pull up my map here for the CRX and see what codes it gives me and go from there. 21 VTEC solenoid malfunction. What was I looking at? Oh, okay.
I didn't know it was a 4.
Yeah, clear. VTEC solenoid malfunction, okay. Alright, so it's just throwing the VTEC solenoid code, so honestly I think it might be the base map that's on the ECU, but this will not start like this. So alright, I'm gonna throw on a base map real quick and just see if I can get it to run any better than what it currently does. Okay, go ahead, prime it. You turn it off and back on. Okay, start it.
Try it again.
Yeah. Go ahead, do it. Do it again. Give it some throttle. Alright, so we found it. I plugged in my computer and I was doing my best to try and get it to run on a different map. And then I was like, man, if the cam timing is advanced or if it jumped, this would cause this issue. And lo and behold, we're at top dead center. I know it's gonna be really hard to see if you can see it. That little thing down there. That's at top dead center, and the cam, which is, it's hard to see, but this line is supposed to be flat. Also with that one, it's supposed to be flat. So we're gonna pull the lower crank pulley, adjust the timing, and then put his ECU back in and see if it runs any better. Because I did start with that ECU. So once that's done, the ECU won't see the cylinder position or the top dead center sensor, cylinder position sensor anymore. So we should be good. Yeah, because it's given the code for it can't really find what TDC is because the cam timing is completely off. So we're gonna do that, get it warmed up, and then we'll check the timing. So we're gonna bust this out real quick and we'll catch back up. All right, so the camshaft is we retimed it. It's at top dead center now. The engine is at TDC. Both lines are flat with the deck of the head before the valve cover sits, and it's all torqued. Everything is torqued, tightened up. Alternator is tight again. We just plugged in his ECU. That's back in the car. Only thing we have to do is under the distributor. I don't know if that's gonna be perfect, but once the car warms up, we will check timing and set ignition timing. So go ahead, Malik. Prime it. Prime again. All right, see if it don't starts. Oh, stop. My dumbass. All right, Malik, see if it starts.
Did you leave it?
All right, Malik, see if it starts.
Ready?
Yep, go ahead. Like a glove. Huh?
Still has to check engine light.
Still has to check engine light. Give it some throttle. It's running pretty good. There is a check engine light. I'm pretty sure it's for the VTEC solenoid malfunction because this is a chipped P28. He thought he ordered a base map on this ECU for a B7, but that's not the case. So basically he's going to be riding with the check engine light for now until we can pick up a S300, right? Hell yeah. Get this bitch somewhat tuned, a drivable street tune. It should be fun. Alright, so I got the crank pulley marked. I wiped on like a white crayon marker and then wiped it off with my finger so it stayed in the ridge of the line. So yeah, should be good. We're about to check the timing now and take it for a drive. I'm gonna start her up. Now, there's a couple ways you can check ignition timing. You can go off of the gear with the lines, or you can go off the gear down there. Also, if you have an adjustable advance, you can adjust 16 out and look at the top TDC mark out there, or TDC marks on the cam gear. Alright, we got the timing light set up. It's kind of hard to see, but right there, I actually advanced the ignition timing 2 degrees, so you can have a little more pep, you know, a little more pep in his step, whatever. And you can just run like 89 fuel, and it should be okay within realm, because this engine doesn't really have too much power, so it's not like it's hurting anything. But it will give him a little more pep, a little more, you know, zoom around town, so why not? Purring like a kitten. Job well done. We're about to take her out for a spin and see how she drives. Throttle response is a little bit better since we advanced the cam timing a little bit. And then she's humming, dude. She's idling pretty good. Just at like 1,000, a little lower. Once it warms up, once it settles down, irons out. So we're about to take her for a spin and see how she drives.
Hey.
Alright, go ahead. It does have a check engine light, but that's for a VTEC solenoid. You're gonna go right there. No, go left. That's for VTEC solenoid control, which it doesn't have currently. I can 100% feel that you need mounts and that exhaust is hitting. Damn, that's annoying. Go right.
Go right?
Yeah. Well, it feels better. There's a horrible squeak coming from the rear, which might just be new pads on old rotors. And the one caliper is kind of stuck, but what can you do? We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna fix it eventually. But the car's running pretty well, right? It's got more power already, so we're gonna get on the highway and just see how she runs on the highway. Make sure there's no hiccups or anything. We also have mad shit in the car, so it's a lot slower than it would be, but we're gonna get on the highway, see how it runs. And
Is that the cops?
the Acura?
No, that's not an Acura.
Oh, fuck 'em. Go to second, go on the highway.
Take the right?
Yeah, second. Well guys, that's that for this one. There are some issues that we still need to focus on. During partial throttle, while like coasting on the highway, it would cut in and out like the fuel cut was happening. And I think that just with this base map, the fuel cut is happening too early, which is causing the car to cut out. And it was awful to drive.
Yeah, awful.
I mean, he can drive it, he can get it home, and that's what we're gonna do. But we definitely need motor mounts, the traction bar. We're also going to be getting an S300 and an intake. And literally, he could be able to drive this thing from here to Florida, and he should be good. So that's gonna be all for this one, guys. Hope to catch you in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time.